Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa if you are new here. Now in my previous video, I talked about my experience veiling and how I love to veil. And a lot of you guys asked me to make a video talking about why we veil. I started veiling not because I found a verse in scripture telling me to veil or I was told to veil, because I didn't know veiling was a thing until my mother had mentioned it to me. But the reason why I started veiling was because I felt like it was the right thing to do. I just one day felt like I should veil, especially since my mother would share stories with me about how she used to veil when she was younger, and my grandmother also used to share stories with me about the importance of it. So that's the reason I started veiling. But fortunately for us, and fortunately for myself, I was very pleased to find that there is a verse in scripture that talks about veiling in the New Testament, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So if you want to see the verse that talks about why women veil, then just keep on watching. So throughout the years, the purpose of veiling has changed over time, but the act of veiling has remained the same. So the part in scripture where we read that women are supposed to have their head covered while praying and that men are supposed to have their head uncovered is in 1 Corinthians, where St. Paul instructs the people to do so. So right now we're going to read this verse. It's fairly long, but it's very important to read. But I want you to know that Christ is the head of every man, and a husband the head of his wife, and God the head of Christ. Any man who prays or prophesies with his head covered brings shame upon his head. But any woman who prays or prophesies with her head unveiled brings shame upon her head, for it is one and the same thing, as if she had her head shaved. For if a woman does not have her head veiled, she may as well have her hair cut off. But if it is shameful for a woman to have her hair cut off or her head shaved, then she should wear a veil. A man, on the other hand, should not cover his head, because he is the image and glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man did not come from woman, but woman from man. Nor was man created for woman, but woman for man. For this reason, a woman should have a sign of authority on her head, because of the angels. Woman is not independent of man, or man of woman in the Lord. For just as a woman came from man, so man is born of woman. But all things are from God. Judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a woman to pray to God with her head unveiled? Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears his hair long, it is a disgrace to him? Whereas if a woman has long hair, it is her glory, because long hair has been given her for covering. But if anyone is inclined to be argumentative, we do not have such a custom, nor do the churches of God. So in this verse, we see that St. Paul calls for women to have their head covered when praying, and for men to have their head uncovered when praying. And St. Paul also instructs us in scripture to follow the tradition just as it's been passed down to us. Now, this teaching that women are to have their head veiled is not a way of teaching that men are superior to women or that we are inferior to men, because men also have their own rules. They're not allowed to have their head covered while praying, just as women have their rule that they should have their head covered. By veiling, we are showing that God is above us. Now, a lot of the times when people think about veiling, they think it's the patriarchy or we need feminism so women don't have to veil. And they think that veiling is something to look down upon, and that if someone has their head veiled, then they are less than. But let's think about the Mass. The most sacred things at Mass are veiled, such as the altar and the chalice. So having your head veiled or being veiled is not something to look down upon. It's something to recognize as being important. So like I said, veiling throughout the years has changed its meaning or changed the So like I said, throughout the years, the purpose of veiling has changed. Today, the purpose of veiling is to show modesty and to show humility. So guys, I hope you learned something new about veiling, specifically the verse where you're taught to veil. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you didn't like it, please give it a dislike. If you want to see more of me, please hit that subscribe button. And I want to thank you guys so much for all your love and constant support. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.